Hello, Scorpio, and welcome back. So, I am going to, I think this is a part, this is very relevant to this message is that, okay, so typically, usually what I do in my readings is I'll pull the cards, right? I sit and I allow the message to absorb, right? And then what I'll do, what I do is I try to conceptualize everything so that I can deliver the message in a really like precise way, so that nothing is, so that it's really honestly it's for my own understanding so that I can understand it, because I feel like if I don't understand it, then how can the reader understand it? Or not the reader, but the viewer. So this is a challenge for me because, um, hi baby, um, because that's like the whole point of it all is that you don't know exactly what you're going to say that's going to trigger um, the attention of you don't know what you're going to say that's going to trigger the attention of another and like have them lift their head, that whole type of thing. So by really trying to like structure the way that the message is delivered, there's a that's there's a that's the rigidity that's wanting to be released. So I just pulled the cards and I hit record. So that's just cat fur. But so I'm gonna attempt to not define the reading. Okay. So first of all, we're starting off with the 10 of Pentacles. And just right off the top, I'm seeing these like grapes up here. And it's making me think of it's pointing me towards the 4 of Wands. So this is like the inside of the church, the inside of the spiritual space. So inside the spiritual space, what it's talking about is everything, the foundation that is necessary for this message or the messages or the knowledge to be transferred. Everything that is needed is there. It's supplied. There's nothing else like necessary other than it's coming up as like the environment, the space around you, even as simple as just like your body, right? So it's going along the lines of like your spiritual space like can be just your body. Does that make sense? Like it doesn't have to have all these bells and whistles and all this extra stuff. What's most important is actually the connection and exchange that's happening inside the church. We'll just call it the church. The spiritual space is what it's talking about. So that exchange is being shown through this 2 of Cups energy. This is the exchange. It's actually kind of is presented as in this way. So I'm matching up, this cup here with this individual here with the wise one is how it's coming through. This is the wise one delivering message to this one here who is showing as the magician. Does that make sense? So what's most important about this exchange is the connection, it's merger, like the connection and merger between these two individuals. I'm trying to see if because we had all this purple energy up here. So I'm trying to determine if, see, and I think this is what the issue is, trying to define what it is. This here, this wise one can be like, you know, the oversoul or the thing that needs a vessel to exist within. And then the magician showing up as like the high priestess, right? Which is you. There's something here with this. It's coming up as like an entangled energy or energetic merger, which if with there being kind of like speaking of downloads and all of that stuff, there has to be that's the connection, right? There has to be an entanglement or a connection between you two in order for this delivery. It's like a delivery system, which tells me that these two here the High Priestess and the Queen of Cups, you know, also being presented in their higher states as the moon and the star. Okay, so now this is kind of pointing me to this could actually be another person. Before I was speaking of it as like within yourself, but now it's more turning into like this could actually be another person that you have an entanglement with. I always feel like when people talk about entanglements, it's like they want to free themselves of this entanglement, but this is not the case here. This is a very like harmonious and blissful, it's very tranquil. It has a lot of divine love within this connection. It's a connection between you and another. And that's the way that this energetic transference is happening, like that download, right? I've never thought of downloads as being, I always see downloads as kind of like, it's kind of like this, like an above below aspect. But what this is talking about is like, in sharing the word, the message, or, you know, it's like that download is like being spread laterally instead of, I don't know, what's that word? I don't know what that word is, but it's like being spread laterally instead of above below. It's this. It's being spread through conversation, right? And, you know, all of these cards were really, they were presented in that Capricorn reading, and it was talking about receiving blessings, asking and receiving a blessing. And that's kind of like what this looks like. This looks like this one here, this magician. The Capricorn was being represented as the magician, and then they were going to their ancestors or the angelics and asking for their blessing. And that's what this looks like. It looks like a, like it's verbal, meaning that it's not an energetic, I mean, yes, it is behind the scenes. Yes, it is energetic, but it's like literally going to someone that you know, asking for their blessing, or someone coming to you, actually. Someone coming to you, asking for a blessing, and then you giving it to them verbally, like through conversation, through communication. Okay. Because this is looking to me like an exchange, especially with how these, it's making me think of toasting. Like the magician is wanting to go on, that's what we were talking about, a new frontier, a new journey. And the magician is, well, I think it was you. So it doesn't matter. The magician is returning to this spiritual, I was gonna say warehouse or wheelhouse, right? And asking for the blessing. And I'm seeing these two cups coming together. And when they toast, when the two cups come together and toast, it's like some of the liquid that is 1111 that is inside this one is spilling into the other cup, and then this one is like spilling into this cup. So it's like an exchange of the waters, an exchange of the liquid, exchange of the waters. That's interesting. Wasn't that, you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't that like a way to it's taking me back to like medieval times, I guess. Wasn't that a way that people would kind of assure that they weren't being poisoned, was because like they would whatever was in that cup is now in this cup. So it's like, if I drink it, then you're going to, see what I'm saying? You're gonna like go too, type of thing. It's like you're in this. What it's talking about is, it's not talking about poison or anything. What it's talking about is like being in this together. It's like being in this together. And that's what this energy here is talking about. Is there's some type of exchange that is happening where you're both in this together. You've both come to the same place and are in collaboration with each other. That's being made known even further, because what before I was noticing that the moon and the high priestess, these two are, you know, they're same energies. She's sitting on all of these fish here, right? And what I see is now this Queen of Wands, who was pictured with the star, she has all of the fish surrounding her. Do you see that? Hopefully you can see those. But what it's talking about, it's that exchange. So, and then what I'm noticing here too is that in the high priestess, it's like her gown, her dress is, it's like it suddenly looks like it's made of water. Like her, suddenly it's water. Everything is water. Free flowing, free forming, can take any shape. So it's talking about that merger that is happening between the two, and you're both coming together like at the same time. Well, because you're both seeking each other. The one is seeking a new frontier, the other is seeking a vessel to relay this message. So now we're moving on to oh, it's on my house. Okay. So now we're moving on to the sun. Okay, and the sun and the three of Pentacles. This is of course talking about that collaboration. So I'm seeing both of you in this, it's like you're being presented in this one card. It's like it's come together, you've merged, and now you're in this sun energy. And the other day, this Sun card, suddenly it looks like it's underwater. Hang on, I'm looking a little deeper into it. So it's looking like it's underwater. What is that talking about? And there's like there's an elevation that's happening here. I'm seeing it like it's being lifted, like the sun energy is being, it's like it's being elevated or lifted. It's like it's lifting, there's something being lifted. Kind of like along the lines of like the spotlight is now on hopefully this will demonstrate. So it's like when this merger, this is another card of the merger too in the spiritual body. When this merger happens, the sun energy, you see that the sun here is blocked by these clouds because you can see the rays coming out from behind it. It's blocked by these clouds. The clouds are, this is fascinating. There's these clouds that are in the background of these as well. So this cloud here and then these here. I actually want to like put them like this. So it's like this cloud is, it's like it's hiding something. It's hiding, well, it's hiding the sun energy. Well, is it hiding the sun energy, or is it more like the sun has to rise? That's what this rising is. The sun has to rise in order for this cloud to be dispersed, because clouds, you know, they need to have like the sun kind of comes out and disperses the clouds. The sun. I think that this sun and this line, okay, now we're getting a little, all right, let's just go with it. The lion before I'm talking about as Christ consciousness, and Christ is the sun, right? The rising of the sun. What are we talking about here? The rising of the sun is going to disperse the clouds. And when that happens, that's when this energetic merger like occurs. It's like spirit, like the Holy Spirit taking over. It's like the Holy Spirit is taking over this vessel, the spiritual body. That's what I was talking about before. Isn't that, is this the moment where like people start speaking in tongues? I'm not sure. I'm trying to conceptualize it, but I'm also trying not to, because I realize that that's what is kind of halting the awakening process. That's what the clouds are. The clouds are presenting themselves as like, when you try to conceptualize something that is beyond language, beyond words, when you're trying to put it into word, that's what the Bible was talking about. The Bible is a conceptualized version of this happening, of this Holy Spirit taking over a vessel. And that conceptualization has caused a fog. Okay, so now we're pointing back to these. I'm looking off into the, because that's how I see the visions. So it's causing a fog that is preventing, well, in the Sagittarius reading, the fog was looking like a nightmare, and it was preventing the dreamer from seeing something as it actually was. It was talking about the dreamer is viewing it as a nightmare because that's how it's supposed to be seen. That's how this writing is supposed to be conceptualized or defined. Like, does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. But that is the issue here. That's what's preventing the sun from rising. This is fascinating. Because I feel like it's kind of religion as a whole. Okay. It's talking about dogma and religion as a whole is preventing like spiritual awakenings from happening. I don't know. Is this true? It's like a cloud over the church. A cloud over the church. I'm not going to say that this is all I'm trying not to overlay the message. I don't think that this is all of religion. I mean, I'm sure that there are some that, you know what I mean, that are more emphatic on teaching the word, you know what I'm saying? And then there's more that are, and then there are others, right? Other bodies that have more emphasis on this connection, a spiritual connection, which has less to do with a rigid structure of how spirituality is defined. And so now where we're headed is into this Three of Pentacles. And I'm suddenly seeing the ones who are reading the word. The ones who are reading the word. And there's some type of there's a realization that's happening here because yeah, it's right there. It's in my hand. It's in their hand. Okay. So the realization, the head is being lifted. Do you see how the head is lifting up? And now that this channel, a Holy Spirit channel it's being opened. And the divine source energy is, hang on. I'm looking to see how it's like it's, hang on. It's like it's flooding in. This is that sun energy. It's flooding, it's like it's flooding into the church. And then you're seeing it. It's like there's something with light. Okay. Because earlier in the first part of the reading, I was looking at these wings And do you see how I don't know, the way that the image is depicted is it kind of looks like stained glass. And now I'm thinking of churches, like stained glass in churches. And when the sun penetrates those windows, like all the colors, all the that it's something in the light that is lifting their heads. The stained glass. That's interesting. I've had a couple of dreams. I've had a couple of dreams where it was like talking about looking at the story in the stained glass. I'm not familiar with I do know that there's because my mother's Catholic, but there are there is a story. I do know that there's a story within the stained glass. I don't know exactly what story that is in particular, or if there's different stories. But I know that there's it's kind of like tarot. It's like it's almost like looking at each of these images here as stained glass. This is the story within the stained glass. This is wow. So I think that perhaps that's the next frontier. Is that the next frontier? Is looking at the story within the stained glass, whatever that means. Scorpio, thank you so much for allowing me to read your energies. This is beyond fascinating. I am, oh my God, I loved it. Okay, thank you so much, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.